Hello and happy Tuesday. Man, it is beautiful and hot outside. I have been ready to complain about the heat all winter. Yeah. So thank you for being here. It is day 2 of our 5-day fitness challenge. I hope that you are making time to spend with Jesus every morning, time for intentional movement, less screen time, more rest, more water. These are the things that a healthy body love. So if you have committed to these things and you have done any one or many of these things, tell me in the comments below. I really want to make sure that we're celebrating the things that you are working towards, and I want to make sure that if your intentions were great to set your alarm this morning and it just didn't happen, and maybe you didn't sleep very well, or your husband, like mine, woke me up in the middle of the night shaking me, dreaming, telling me about our dog being in a meadow, and then the thunderstorms keeping you awake, it's okay. I told him when the alarm went off at 4:30, can you come back in and get me at 5? Sometimes that's just how it goes. That's okay. Whatever we have is enough. So my name is Lindy Slaybaugh. My last name looks a lot more complicated than it is. It's simply just Slaybaugh. Easy cheesy. So I want to tell you a little bit about my experience with hormones and the struggle that comes with staying fit in your 40s. So in 2018, within a very short amount of time, about 3 weeks, I was laid off from my job. My little brother got shot. He lives down in Florida with my dad and then stepmother. And he got caught in a drunk altercation between the two of them. And long story short, he ended up with a buckshot in his quadricep about 4 weeks before his high school graduation. So me being in Indiana, I flew to Florida while he rehabbed in the hospital. And after he finally came home after 30 some days in the hospital, multiple surgeries, I was finally able to come home that August. And it was a very hard time. I hadn't had a relationship with my dad in over 8 years. We hadn't spoke. He was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And after one very unfortunate New Year's Eve, I had to take a break. So I flew down to Florida with my Aunt Natalie, and we got my dad into rehab. My pastor at the time helped me find a faith-based place for him to go. Praise be to God, he got sober, he got saved, and April 7th of this year, I think was 6 years? What year are we in? 7 years since he got sober. So God is good. And he'd be the first one to tell you that it's only by the grace of Jesus that has happened. So when I came home that year, that August, my brother, as anyone would be, he missed out on a baseball scholarship. He missed out on college. He missed out on all of these things that he had planned for his life. And a lot of that anger he took out on me. My ex-stepmom, who shot him, didn't take responsibility for her actions. It was just a lot of mental struggle through that whole time, and I took the brunt of his anger. And so by the time I came home in late August, I was a mess emotionally. I've struggled with anxiety and depression for the last 20 plus years, and the physical ramifications of my stress started to come through in the form of hemorrhaging. That September, I started hemorrhaging, and I found myself in the emergency room multiple times. That January, I was diagnosed with fibroids and endometriosis, and my OB, in hopes to save my uterus because he knew that I wanted to have children, he put me on a Lupron shot. So every 28 days for 6 months, I would go into the hospital and they would inject a Lupron shot into my arm that put me in medical menopause. So at the end of that time, they did another laparoscopic surgery. It didn't work. And so we had to make some kind of crucial decisions. The whole process of all of this took about 18 months. And I finally said to my doctor, if I was your daughter, what would you tell me to do? What is the safest thing for me to do? And he said, you need to have a hysterectomy. Well, at the time I was 37, I was single, no kids of my own, and I was devastated. It was not something at all that I was hoping for, that I had wanted. I had came back to Christ for about a year and a half, and I just all of a sudden felt like I was being punished for the sexual sins of my past. And it took some deep prayer and staying in the Word to realize that God does not punish us for things. He doesn't work that way. He loves us unconditionally. But bad things do happen. And in John 16, we read that in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And that became my theme for that time of my life. And it took some time to adjust to the thought of not being able to be a parent, but that's just where I ended up. Medically, it was going to be dangerous if I didn't. So I had my hysterectomy in February of 2020, and I felt amazing. My doctor always told me healing is 80% your mindset. Well, I had felt so terrible for a year and a half that by the time my hysterectomy actually came, I was actually looking forward to it. And I remember waking up in the hospital that next day and feeling the bittersweet moment, knowing I'd never be able to carry my own baby, but also that sweet moment of knowing that I wasn't going to have to suffer and struggle like I had been the previous 18 months. I felt great right away. I was struggling with anemia, so I had to be put on an iron pill, which with a history of IBS-C was not a good combination. So over the course of probably about the next 18 months, I was trying to figure out how to get my body back into that normal routine. I couldn't exercise for 6 weeks after my surgery. And so by the time I was free and clear to do that, I'd been walking as soon as I was cleared. It became the whole thought process of, okay, what now? Over about a year later, my hormones really started to catch up with me. I was in a new relationship and I was eating a lot of things I didn't normally eat. I was drinking more than I wanted to or had been in a really long time. And all the things started to creep back up. And by 2022, I had gained 27 pounds. I knew that the weight was coming, but I didn't want to get on the scale. Like, I have religiously weighed in every Friday morning for as long as I can remember, but for like a year, I didn't weigh in because I knew what was happening. I just didn't want to face it. And one day, about 18 months ago, I got on the scale and I was 186 pounds, which is where I was when I started my coaching journey. And I was like, okay, whoa. What's going on here? I know my hormones have changed. How can I balance this? So, one of the ways I did that was refocusing on my meal plan. I get hormone replacement pellets inserted into my hip every 92 days. I make sure to intentionally work in the resistance, body weight resistance range. I have done everything from heavy and light weights. Right now I'm doing a program that is bar. So it's a lot of body weight and band work with 1 to 2 pound weights. And so it's really just been taking this last 18 months to really figure out what is it that so many women struggle with? How can we overcome this struggle that so many of us face when it comes to our hormones? And a lot of times, the biggest issue that we face is we don't eat enough of the right foods and we don't train resistance training. So I have gone the past probably 8 to 10 months on a research journey because so many of my clients in my paid community are 40 and over, or they've struggled with infertility or hormones, things like that. And so really the goal, the number one goal, the number one thing that I see where women fall short as it comes to toning up through menopause is, one, they're not resistance training intentionally 3 to 4 times a week. They're not sleeping enough. They're not eating enough of the right foods in the right amounts, especially protein. We should be eating about 0.9 to 1.2 grams per pound of body fat. So I weigh right now, I haven't been on the scale since last week. Last week I weighed in at 161. So my protein goal every day is about 168 grams. So that takes a lot of practice to try to figure out how to get all of that protein in. How can I intentionally make sure that I am getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep? How can I make sure that I am drinking at least 100 ounces of water a day, salted water a day? I want to replenish my electrolytes. I need to be walking at least 8,000 steps if I am 40 to 60. If I'm 60 plus, I need to be walking about 6,000 to 8,000 steps. So one thing that I see happen a lot is the older we get, women decide that they all of a sudden want to run, and they've never ran before ever in their entire lives. And what happens when we do hard cardio is that our cortisol levels shoot through the roof. One, your body's not used to it, so you build up lactic acid around your joints and things of that nature. But your cortisol, like your body's not built necessarily to run. Like people ran for a fight or flight or hunting, thousands of years ago, but our bodies have not really evolved. They've kind of taken back, but we don't sit in our normal squat patterns that we were created for. We sit in chairs, we sit on the couch, we sit. And so when we try to go from sitting to running, it puts unnecessary and unneeded pressure on our joints. So the best thing that you can do as a woman 40 plus who wants to tone and lose weight is nail your protein goal, get your sleep, but you need to be resistance training, lightweight, heavyweight, moderate weight, body weight, bands, anything like that, 3 to 4 times a week. And then when it comes to cardio, you're looking for 1 to 2 days a week. And you want to make sure you stay in that zone 2. So if you wear a fit tracker like I do, you can track your heart rate zones to know where your zone 2 is. So I actually wrote on a piece of paper, and this is where I work out. This has all my workouts on it. So my zones are written right here on a sheet of paper. So my zone 2 is 117 to 141. So if I am doing a cardio workout and I look at my fit tracker and I am over that 141, I'll take a deep breath. I'll slow my feet down. I won't take my arms over my head as high. I won't go as low in my legs. So there is a massive, massive misconception that you have to lift super heavy weights in order to reach your fitness goals over 40. And that's not true. You need resistance training. So I'm going to show you a couple things I use. Where's my other band? There. So I should have been prepared, sorry. So this is a 1 pound walking weight. Today, while I was doing my workout, I had to drop a 1 pound weight because I could not hold it. I was dying, okay? 1 pound weights, fantastic if you are a woman over 40. This is a 2 pound walking weight. Same thing. Resistance also comes in the form of heavy weights. I'm not doing a heavyweight program right now. That's okay. You can use body weight. Your body weighs something, right? Mine weighs 161 pounds. Body weight workouts are fantastic for women over 40. These little nightmarish things, also amazing for women over 40. These are different levels. This is the light band, the medium band, the heavy band. I've been doing this program for 2 weeks. I have never touched this band. I probably won't. I have used this band a couple times and quickly taken it off. Today, I only used the lightweight resistance band and I ended up taking it off as well. Okay? There has to come a time in our lives where we stop shaming our bodies for all of the things that we think she should be doing that she's not. If she's not losing weight, if she's not sleeping, if she's not toning like she should be, even if you're exercising, she's telling you that something is off. And instead of just going on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, trust the process that where God guides you, he's going to provide for you. So if you're finding a lot of lower back pain or hip pain or shoulder pain, you have an impingement. So if you're lifting heavy weights, you need to stop. You need to go to probably a chiropractor or have a massage. You need to take a rest. Probably a month ago at this point, I took 9 days off of exercise. I have been lifting super heavy weights for probably 2+ years. My body was begging for a break and I kept praying, okay, Lord, what do I need? What do I need? What do I need? And he's like, I told you a year ago to take a break. Okay. So I took a break. 9 days of not exercising, the inflammation that I was carrying in my body went completely away in 9 days. And when I went back to that next strength workout, I thought, oh, I'm going to have to lighten my weight. I went up in my weight. And for 3 days, I was able to lift heavy because my body had the rest she needed until I went to leg day. And my lower half was still feeling some impingements. And so prayerfully, God was like, okay, I've told you to take a break. You did take a break, but then you went right back to the thing that I told you not to do. So I gave it up. I had 3 weeks left in the program. 12 weeks later, I gave it up. We can't be considered a failure unless we quit. Okay? I'm failing forward. I'm going on to do the next right thing. So I really want to encourage you. Take one step. Put your phone down and stop looking at all of the people who are living the life that you think you want, and let's choose to be grateful for the life that we have. What are 3 things that you can say out loud right now that you are thankful for? For me, I'm thankful for sunshine. I'm thankful for my husband. I'm thankful for the grace and salvation that comes through the finished work of the cross. I could go on all day about the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for water and fun cups. I'm grateful for my hands and my feet. I'm grateful for my hair, for my eyebrows that I have not yet penciled in today. I am grateful for the ability to be the woman that God has called me to be without expectation of anyone else, including myself. So many times I meet with women and they're like, oh, it's my hormones. Oh, it's my hormones. And I ask them to tell me the process that they're taking to try to adjust. And they're not doing anything because they don't know. We don't know what we don't know. But cardio and eating less, it's not the answer. I've lost 17 pounds just this year. And do you want to know how I did it? I added about 600 to 800 calories to my diet every day. And I'm not saying diet like I'm dieting. I'm saying I eat 600 to 800 calories more now than I was at the beginning of the year. Less is not more. Unless you're talking about less weight. Less weight is sometimes more. No weight is sometimes more. So if you're struggling, make sure that you know what your protein goal is. If you need help, comment protein below this video and I will send you a couple of questions that you'll need to answer and we'll figure out the macros that you need to be eating every day. Okay? If you need a zone 2 workout, drop zone 2 in the comments and I'll send you a sample of the workout that I'm doing right now. If you need help with sleep or with water or with knowing what kind of workout to do or what kind of fit tracker to get, comment question And then I'll reach out and ask what question that you have if you want to take it privately through our messaging. I want to help you get the results that you want to get. This is what I do with clients in their one-on-ones in my paid accountability group. I just had a call before I hopped on here with my girl Katie. She's really struggled to finish a program. Her goal this year, she wanted to finish a program. And Thursday, she will finish her first 21-day program. 30 minutes a day, 21 days. She's been having some pretty hard mental things, like if you didn't have this, maybe you'd be finished. If you didn't have this workout wouldn't be hard. And I get it. I did it today. If I didn't have such wonky hips, if I didn't have 13 pins and a plate in my ankle, if I didn't have sciatica, this would be so much easier. But when we can look at the things we do have, like hands and feet and the ability to move, and we focus on those things, we grow in the struggle. Our comfort zone is fine, but nothing grows there. I always think of the image of the mountaintop, and I used this in last month's challenge. You picture this mountaintop, and maybe you're down here in the valley, and you picture yourself at that peak, whatever that goal is that you've set. And the valley feels like it's so ugly and hard. And the peak is like, man, why can't I just be there? The valley feels hard. The mountain seems great, but you know where the true goodness happens? It's on the climb up. It's when you climb up 3 rungs and you face plant, smash your head right on the rock and fall down again, but then you get up and you keep going. And you do that about 6 more times. And eventually you get to the top of that mountain and you think, man, that was hard, but look what God was able to do through me. Look what he was able to do to me. And you look back down at the climb you had to make, and you look back down into that valley and where you were when you started and how you felt like such a crappy human and unworthy and unvalued and unloved. And you realize at that moment that that girl down there, she was capable of doing the hard things it took to get to the top. So don't underestimate her. She might have fallen down 100 times, but eventually she took the next step. She did the next right thing and she got to the top of that mountain. And while she's amazing and we celebrate her, don't because the chick at the bottom of that mountain, she's the one that had the grit to keep on going when she wanted to quit. That is where your power lies. It comes from the fruit of the Spirit that lives in you when you accept Christ as your Savior. He's the one that gives you the strength to keep going. He's the one that gives you the peace and the patience and the waiting. He's the one that gives you the gentleness, the faithfulness, the kindness, the goodness, and the self-control it's going to take to eke up that mountain one teeny tiny step at a time. That comes from recognizing where you're struggling, recognizing that maybe you need help, recognizing that maybe you need to stop worrying about all of the fad diets and all the shots and all the things that you can take to lose weight in this life, and just say a prayer and ask God to lead you and guide you to the thing that you need. Because if you don't fix this right here, if you don't learn to love her as she is right now today, I don't care how much weight you lose. It ain't ever going to matter. It ain't ever going to make you happy. The only true peace we feel is through the salvation that came through Jesus. But our bodies are his temple, and we get to go out and do the good work he's called us to do when we honor and care for our temple, when we feel good on the inside, so that portrays to the outside. And people see a light in us that they hope to have. And sometimes that comes in the form of eating 600 to 800 calories when you're terrified to even enjoy a cookie at your niece's birthday party. My niece is graduating from 8th grade tonight. I already have a cookie in my meal plan for my treat today. Less is not more when it comes to food and your body. You just have to know the right kind of foods to eat at the right time in the right amounts, and watch how your body will transform. I promise you, it's going to take time. 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, a year, depending on where you are in your fitness journey, depending on where you are at your age group. We're all different. But hard cardio, if you're not used to it, hard cardio 40 plus, when we increase that cortisol, that stress hormone in our body, nothing good happens. So don't forget, watch and rewatch this video. Comment questions, comment protein, comment workout, comment any of the things that I mentioned above, and I will send you whatever it is that you need, okay? And don't forget, my paid group will kick off, I think it's June 3rd. So, Fit Camp is open. I am here if you have any questions. Pinned at the top of this group in the featured section is an application. You can go fill that out. Tell me all about your goals, the things that you've struggled with, the things you've done well, the things that you like. And the deadline to join us will be, I believe, May 31st. June is my birthday month. So if you get into our paid challenge, I'm going to have some really cool and fun prizes to give away. So thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me chat with you. Thank you for being part of this free community, and God bless.